Welcome to the SEC Unfiltered channel for another night of reaction from the hardwood, from the best league in the SEC. Oklahoma, wild ending there. Jeremiah Fears, did he get fouled? Did he get fouled? That's fair. But Fears, no fears, folks. I mean, a phenomenal play, 4-point play ends the game for the Sooners. Sooners stay unbeaten, one of four teams to be undefeated in college basketball. Three from the SEC. It's wild. Alabama, very sloppy win. Still trying to figure out the rotation, but hang on in North Dakota to get a win. It was a Grant Nelson homecoming to sorts. And then Vanderbilt just dominating the Citadel across the board. But we'll get to all three games there. Before we do, guys, this reaction is brought to you by our buddies over at Game Time app. Download the Game Time app and use code SECU for $20 off of your first purchase. Guys, it's college basketball season. It's college football playoff time. If you're trying to go to any of these events, any of these games, I highly encourage you to go check out our buddies over at Game Time. That's where I get all my games when I'm in Atlanta. I'm in my parents right now for the holidays. As you can tell, we're not in the regular studio, but when I am in Atlanta, it's Brave season, Hawks. I've used it for a couple other stuff for concerts before. Highly encourage it. Dude, college basketball season coming up. Why not? Why not? Why would you not use our buddies? And if you do use our buddies at Game Time, tell them your guys over at SEC Unfiltered sent you. But let's get right to it, guys. Oklahoma stuns Michigan in Charlotte, the second night of the Jumpman Challenge. Remember last night, Florida, North Carolina went down to the wire. It must be a Jumpman Challenge thing, but a fun event they've put on in Charlotte. As y'all know, we always have a visual. Got to share the box score from the Oklahoma-Michigan game. Again, Oklahoma getting the 87-86 win over Michigan. Kind of stole one. Let's be honest. Kind of stole one, but again, that's what good teams do. Give Porter Moser and them credit. This is the most underrated team in college basketball. And I say that in the ranked 14th. And I've been saying it all non-conference play. Jeremiah Fears is the most underrated player in the country. I think tonight changed that. Folks. I really do. I think tonight changed that because he was kind of on it. Everybody was kind of watching this. It's the holiday season. It's a slow Wednesday night. There's no other real big games. I mean, Alabama, North Dakota went down to the wire. That had some eyeballs on the CBS Sports Network. This game was on ESPN, had a fun environment against a good Michigan team. Give Dusty May and them credit. So a couple SEC players on that team. Damari Burnett, former Bama guy, Sam Walters, Trey Donaldson from Auburn, FAU transfer in Golden. This was a fun basketball game, but I think this kind of maybe alerted people of who Jeremiah Fears is and the freshman is. A phenomenal, fun player to watch. I honestly, I may try to get down to Tuscaloosa for that opening game when Alabama and Oklahoma face off, opening up SEC play. And Oklahoma may be a top 12 team at some point at that point. Certainly undefeated, probably. But let's get to it. Oklahoma shot 47% from the field, 48% from three on 25 attempts. That's pretty impressive. Michigan, on the other hand, 46% from the field. That's fine. 14% from three, and were in this game and led for most of it. You can see they were up 43-38 at halftime. Free throws, both teams shot fine from the free throw line. Michigan with the slight rebounding edge from that perspective there. Going down, turnovers weren't terrible. You had Oklahoma with 13, Michigan with 10. Points in the paint dominated there by Michigan. And you can see that Oklahoma is not great in the paint overall, really. Godwin's fine. Muhammad Wagi, the transfer from Alabama, he's just okay. Oklahoma was lucky to win this one, but you know what? When you're not playing your best game and your best player steps up and goes for 30, 40, and Jeremiah Fears, it says something. This Oklahoma team, guys, undefeated. You are a good basketball team if you're undefeated at this point. I don't have to tell the Sooner fans that. Highly underrated by everybody, myself included, going into the year. This team's a much improved team. Much improved team, as you can tell. Top 15 ranking right now. Just give Porter Moser and this team credit. Again, Jeremiah Fears came out of nowhere. No one saw this freshman doing this. But let's go to the box score here. Just mentioned it. Jeremiah Fears here, 8 for 12 from the field, 3 for 4 from beyond the arc, 30 points. I mean, just carrying the team. Jalen Moore went for 16. Duke Miles, 17. Didn't get a lot of production off the bench. I mean, let's be honest. You had, 13 points off the bench. Not a lot there. Still scored 87 points, though. And a lot of that was Jeremiah Fears carrying this team. But like I mentioned, the thing they did well, they had to get every bit of this 48% to ultimately win this game. I mean, you saw it. It came down to a 4-point play where Fears got ruled that he got fouled. It looked really close, but hey, he called it on the floor as a foul. 4-point play, ultimately get a stop off the Trey Donaldson miss. I'll be honest, the SEC and this Jumpman Challenge thing back-to-back nights shows some grit when things got hard. Again, kind of opposite. Florida led the whole game really for the most part against North Carolina, slipped up, hung on. Oklahoma kind of just hung around again, down 5 at half. The largest lead you saw, I think, got up to, 11 for Michigan? They have this stat here. Yeah, 11, largest lead for Oklahoma was 4. That was within the last, 3 or 4 minutes. But Oklahoma just hung around, and that's what good teams do. And I'm telling y'all, folks, I've watched this Michigan team a lot. They won the Fort Myers Classic around Thanksgiving week. It had some good teams in it. Yeah, I know they lost to Arkansas. They're struggling against some SEC teams, but still, Dusty May in his first year has a pretty good squad here. I mean, it's a top 25 win. They're sitting at 24th. This is definitely a tournament team for the Big Ten, folks. It's a big win for Porter Moser. Then this is a gut check win where, hey, if we can hang around, we do have a score. We do have a bucket in Jeremiah Fears that we know trust that if we can get it close in the under 4-minute timeout, we can kind of make this a one-on-one game, get him some isolation plays, and he can take over. That's what he's playing. And I've been telling people all offseason that have paid attention to the Sooners, even back to the Fort Myers the Battle for Atlantis. When they won that, that's when I watched that whole tournament because I was like, Oklahoma hadn't really played anybody, and that was fair too. Again, guys, I say it all the time. If you pay attention to any of my stuff on football, basketball, even baseball last year from around the SEC, I say that a lot. Two things can be true at once. And I think that's something we struggle with society a little bit. Is we're always either like, hey, it's got to be very black and white. No, most things are in the middle. And that's where it was. Oklahoma didn't play a lot of good teams to open up the year. Played some solid teams, some brand names in Atlanta. This game tonight, though, sold me, though. I think it sold a lot of people in Jeremiah Fears. I was already sold on him, but I think tonight on the big flat platform there really sold some people here across the board here. Stevie G, Fears is a bad baller. Yes, he is. He's a bad man, dude. It is fun to watch him. Stevie G, again, don't forget Fears is supposed to be in high school here. Yeah, that's what I was saying. A freshman kid that Porter Moser came up and stumbled upon. So just a fun player to watch, man. The way he can just switch to his left hand when he's going to his right side stuff. It's fun to watch him. He's one of my favorite players. Oklahoma, that was a fun basketball game. Grew a lot of respect for Florida and Oklahoma these last 2 nights in Charlotte. But Oklahoma lets the SEC cap it off with the clean sweep in Charlotte in the Jumpman Challenge again, folks. That's the challenge of all the teams that are the Jordan brand teams. Last night, North Carolina, Florida, Michigan, Oklahoma tonight. Big win, though. Big win for Porter Moser and the boys. Let's look what they got coming up next before conference play starts. So like I mentioned, they're rolling in 11-0. They got Central Arkansas on Sunday, this upcoming Sunday at noon. Then Prairie View A&M the next week. And then open up conference play on January 4th, just like everybody else, at Alabama. First 3 games, you're not going to be easy, guys. There's not going to be an easy game in this league. Again, we'll get to Alabama in a minute, but if they played the way like they did tonight, they would have lost to anybody in the league. Most certainly, but open up at Alabama, host A&M at Georgia. 3 tough games, but again, everybody, you could say that. But yeah, I mean, they should get these next 2 games here. Yeah, this is kind of the lull, the break here between exams, Christmas break. Guys get to go home for the holidays just a little bit. Get that week. You see, they play on Sunday. Then next week's gonna be a little slow for college basketball. But the Sooners get the big win over the Michigan Wolverines. Stevie G, no, he reclassified, came in a year earlier, believe it or not. Yeah, I know, you're right. I knew that. I was reading up on it. Dude, since I was watching him at the Battle for Atlantis, I've been following him hard. I mean, go back and look at my email. I don't know if you're a new listener, but I appreciate you, or a new watch. But if you do, go like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, folks. It's the road to 20,000 subscribers by January 19th, and that is the national championship night. I've challenged everyone on here that listens to the SEC Unfiltered. If you're not subscribed, just go hit it. Just go hit it. And even send a review. Tell me how big of an idiot I am if you want to. But Stevie G, I knew that. You're right. I've been following him hard, man. I love watching Jeremiah Fears, man. Very good player. Sooners are on the rise heading into the conference play. They should be undefeated. Heading into conference play. Appreciate you liking, subscribing there, Stevie G. Appreciate you listening, brother. No, but Oklahoma should roll in. I mean, some things break their way. Maybe top 10. That'll be a fun opening round matchup or opening night matchup in league play in the SEC. Oklahoma's first SEC game in the new league and on the hardwood at Alabama. So we'll see how that goes. But Oklahoma, man, impressive, gutsy performance too. Again, I like Porter Moser. I've always said that. I always just thought Oklahoma should invest a little bit more of their war chest and NIL perspective in basketball. I mean, again, they kind of shouldn't say lucky. You evaluated Jeremiah Fears, but again, that wasn't. you didn't get him because you had some money to go compete. You out-evaluated people, which you need that too. But Oklahoma gets a big win in Charlotte. Give them credit. Let's go to North Dakota, folks. Let's go to North Dakota real fast. Let's bring it up. Alabama hangs on against North Dakota. It wasn't pretty, folks. But the Crimson Tide hang on. Pulling it up for the box score right here. Hang on against the 97-90 win in the Grant Nelson homecoming game. Let me pull it up, share screen for you. Perfect. All right, here we go. Team stats right here. I mean, field goal percentage here. Alabama going 43% from the field, 52%. Alabama going 52%. North Dakota going 43%. Let's sink in. I should have done a better job introducing this, and that's on my fault. It's my fault. North Dakota, the Fighting Hawks, as you see right there, are 4-9 now. They were 4-8 coming in. This was not a good basketball team. They have a good player in Eagle staff, but this is not a good basketball team. This is very disappointing if you're an Alabama team. But hear me out. I'm going to come back to this a little bit and say why it's not time to press any kind of panic button. First of all, just go look at your calendar. It's December 18th. We're not even in the year of 2025 here, folks, when it really matters in March. I'll tell you why in a minute, but let's get to this. 52% from the field. North Dakota shot 43%. Alabama 32% from three. North Dakota shot over 40%, 41.5%. Alabama free throw percentage tonight was bad. 20 for 30. Did not shoot a lot of free throws. It's rare you see the visiting team that get that big of a free throw advantage, but at the same time, Alabama's bigger, faster, stronger. It makes sense. Got a lot more rebounds, dominated the rebounds, 44 for 35. And actually, dominated a little bit of extreme, but they controlled that, especially on the defensive side, 28-19. Turnovers, though, in the first half. Alabama only had 13. They had 13 in the first half, only had one in the second half. Let me rephrase that. They only had 13. They had 13 at half, which is not good. That's going to lose you a basketball game against Tuscaloosa County. Like you're giving away that many opportunities, second chance points. That's not going to happen. You're throwing away that many possessions. But they only had one in the second half, so that got fixed. As you can tell, Alabama was down 3 at half. But they did outscore them by 10 in the second half. Was it great? No. But really, the second half was all defense. Them just struggling. I did not understand the defensive strategy against Eagle staff tonight. I'll be honest with you. I did not hear that. I don't understand that at all. I really don't. Why are you switching on screens when he's ungodly? 15 for 30 from the field. Guy shot 50%. It's like my old coach used to say, dude, you go face guard this guy and almost go a boxing one, and you're communicating to your other defenders but out of a timeout whenever we're discussing this, probably about midway through the first half. And you had the scout on him. You knew he was their best player. You say, hey, we're face guarding this guy now. Hey, realize you have no help on this side, other defenders. You make this a 4-on-4 game. You take him out of it. I didn't understand the defensive game plan by Alabama there. I believe it's Coach Adams, the new defensive coach. He came up from the Pistons, I do believe. I know he's for the Pistons. Name just slips my head for just a brief second here. But, no, I mean, overall, though, it made no sense. You were literally doing – you were switching when he was the only guy that could score for you. You do that against other teams, you get killed. Like if you do that against Florida, if you did that against Elijah Martin, you're gonna have or Walter Clayton, you're gonna have Elijah Martin and Will Richard who could kill you. You really can't do that. I mean, you really can't do that against teams like hold on, I'm looking at this up. I just want to make sure I get his name right. Assistant coach. But I'm gonna bring you up and show you what I'm doing. I want to bring Brian Adams. I was right, Coach Adams. I'd met him a long time ago, but I remember his name talking about Brian Adams. They just brought in as the defensive coach. But I don't know why. And again, it's not all him. I understand it. And I'll get to my main point here in a minute. But why are you switching that far out? That makes sense. He was the only guy that could score. You can't do that against other teams in the league. You could do that. And when I say league, the SEC, you could do that tonight. But I'll say this. Alabama's still playing 10 to 11 guys in the rotation. Chris Youngblood's just coming off the tightrope surgery. Latrell Wrightsell's just they're getting him officially out. It's getting, hey, this is us now. They took the red shirt off Houston Millett. Figuring out that rotation. Nadeau's going to have to cut it to 8 to 9 when we get into league play. He knows that. He talked about it going into this game where they made the trip to North Dakota, which, by the way, was like -2 degrees today, by the way. Imagine that. It was the 70s here in the Southeast. This is when you just flush and burn the tape. It is what it is. You got to figure it out defensively. Offensively, Alabama's going to do what they do most nights, even when they don't shoot that well. They haven't shot well all year from beyond the arc. Right now, they're not a good shooting team. It is what it is. There's no sugarcoating it. Will it come along? Maybe. Maybe. To be determined, in my opinion. That it could come along. But right now, I wouldn't bank on it right now. I mean, nothing's telling. Nobody's really in that rhythm. I think at some point you'll see Alabama have some games where they're on fire. But will it be consistent throughout the upcoming 18 conference game schedule, SEC schedule? I don't know. I'm not ready to say that. But I do think at the same time, you got to give him some grace period. Nate Oates knew it. He was coming in playing 10, 11 guys, playing everybody in this game. I mean, probably thought it maybe in a different manner when they're up big. But the rotation was going to continue. LeBaron and Filan didn't get as much minutes as possible. Do you start paying him 30 minutes, playing him 30 minutes? I mean, he's the electric spark to this team, LeBaron Filan. When he's playing, Alabama's playing their style, him leading the point, getting up there, a great distributor, great creator. He's got to play more. He's got to play more, in my opinion. So it'll be interesting there. I mean, not all is lost, you won. Is Alabama going to drop in the metrics? Yes, but they're still trying to figure out their rotation. The ceiling is national championship. I think the floor of this team is probably – you can lose to anyone in the conference on a given night. But again, it's a compliment to how good the conference is. When I rank teams, guys, in these power rankings, and I see some people get offended with it when I release it on Tuesdays, it's like, well, why are we ranked 14, 15, or 16? Well, guys, this league's so good, someone has to be. So Alabama can lose to anyone on any given night in the SEC, but I do think they are a second weekend team floor-wise when we really put together this season. Sweet 16, I think, ceiling national championship, but Alabama just hangs on. Alabama hangs on for dear life in this game. I mean, going to the box score, I mean, yeah, Grant Nelson in his homecoming go over 23 points, 9 of 14 from the field. Again, has some bad turnovers at times. Had some bad turnovers, 10 rebounds again. He's been rebounding the basketball really well. Give him credit for all the things you can say about Grant Nelson. It wasn't tonight. I had some bad turnovers. That's the thing with Grant Nelson. So after you watch him, is just the lackadaisical turnovers. Clifford Amore tonight, non-existent. 1 rebound, 5 rebounds, 1 point. Like, what are we doing? Mark Sears has been playing well recently. Hadn't shot great from beyond the arc. Just under 3 for 7 isn't terrible, but he's a volume shooter. And I'll say this. I think Aiden Holloway, again, Auburn fans warned Alabama fans about this a little bit. It's still maybe a little too early, but I think the conversation can be had. Aiden Holloway is messing up the flow to this team when he comes in a little bit. I believe that right now. Now, can that change? Yes. Again, 2 things can be true at once. You listen to any of my content, I will tell you 2 things can be true at once. So what I take from this Alabama game tonight is, hey, give him a break. The rotation still got to get figured out. Chris Youngblood's coming off from injury. Latrell Wrightsell, they're kind of fading him out, took the Houston Millette red shirt off. They're still trying to put the pieces together. Is it an excuse to how bad you played defensively tonight and the turnovers in the first half of 13? Absolutely not. Is it still a potential national championship Final Four team? Absolutely. Could they lose to anybody in the league on any given night? Yes, but so could anybody else. So it is what it is. Take it. Will they drop in the metrics? Yes. You flush it. Go get ready for Kent State on Sunday. Let's look at Alabama's schedule before we move on to our last game. You have Alabama plays Kent State at noon on the SEC Network, and then finish up with South Dakota State in Tuscaloosa on Sunday, December 29th. So like I told you, next week's going to be a little slow, Christmas week, college basketball, unfortunately. But Alabama should roll in with only 2 losses into that Oklahoma matchup. But not all is bad. You didn't lose the game. Could be worse. But again, you got to be a little bit of an embarrassing performance. I would be wondering what that locker room was like after the game. Then the last game of the night, Vandy just dominates. It's the best way to say it, guys. Again, we're not going to sugarcoat this. The Citadel is not a very good basketball team. Let's see. Pulling up, sharing it for you. There we go. All right, Vanderbilt gets the 105-53 win. Again, the Citadel, the Bulldogs, 5-6. But granted, give Vanderbilt credit. They went and took care of business against a bad team. Alabama can't say that tonight. But Vanderbilt controlled this one from the start, 49-21. Watched a lot of the first half really here. Thought Devin McLaughlin was good tonight. Again, everybody, look what they shot from 3. I mean, you saw this in the first half, 55% from the field, 52% from three-point range, 81% from the free throw line. That's really good, guys. Only 3 turnovers. You're not going to lose a lot of basketball games like that. Vanderbilt, just like Oklahoma, probably not to the extent, but an improved basketball team in Mark Byington's first year when he coming over from James Madison. So the Commodores, again, they're only lost to Drake, one of the 4 undefeated teams in college basketball, along with the 3 others from the SEC in Florida, Oklahoma, and Tennessee. So give them credit. Tyler Nickel, 11 points, 4 from 8 from the field. A.J. Hogarth, the senior vet from Michigan State, 13 points, 4 of 8 from the field, 2 for 2. Even the bench chimed in, guys. Jason Edwards, who their leading scorer going in this game, 19 points over there. So give them credit across the board. You like what he's been doing, man. Look at that stat line. 19 points. I was looking at it earlier today. Did a good job coming over from North Texas. Not a lot to get into this one, really, guys. Just kind of pure dominance here by Vanderbilt. Like I said, the impressive thing, the shooting, 55% of the field, 52%. The turnovers impressive. Y'all know, if you listen to my stuff consistently, I love those limited numbers of turnovers. Largest lead, 53. This was just a total blowout right here. But remember, Vanderbilt's gotten out-rebounded by Jackson State. What was the rebound in this game? They didn't necessarily dominate in the rebounds. Again, they controlled it. They won by 9. They won by 11, but still, they've gotten out-rebounded for it. That would be a concern down the road. But it's Mark Byington's first year. They've done a phenomenal job. 10-1. Let's see what the Doors got as heading into the Christmas break before we head into conference play. They play Austin Peay on Saturday. And then on December 30th, they play New Orleans before playing at LSU to open up the league play. At LSU, Mississippi State, and Missouri. Not terrible, but again, Vanderbilt, a lot of these games are going to be tough for them this year. And I think it's just a testament to the league and it being a first-year head coach, Mark Byington them. But Vanderbilt's been way better than advertised, guys. Give Mark Byington credit for kind of locking this team in. They have a style. They have a system. They're a fun watch. Are they going to probably make the NCAA tournament? I would lean no, but I think they can get you on any given night, especially if it's at Memorial. But Vanderbilt dominates the Citadel overall with a 105-53 win. Never in doubt, folks. But, man, SEC continues to roll. Was it absolutely pretty tonight? No, Alabama kind of held the league down a little bit from that perspective, but they did win. Trying to still figure out that rotation. Who does Nate Oates cut? Oklahoma, Jeremiah Fears, Porter Moser. Hey, you trailed most of the game. Probably could term it you stole one a little bit. But you know what? You got to win. You're undefeated. You're going to be undefeated most likely as long as you don't stub your toe rolling into Tuscaloosa and the Coleman Coliseum for that SEC opener, your first SEC game as the Oklahoma Sooners on the hardwood in the Southeastern Conference. Man, this Oklahoma team just find ways to win. Love what Jeremiah Fears on Vanderbilt, Mark Byington. Just overachieving in year one, folks. But not as many games to cover tonight, but still fun night. Oklahoma, Michigan down to the wire, Alabama, North Dakota down to the wire. And then Vanderbilt was our appetizer where they dominated, guys. But again, guys, this reaction to SEC basketball on this Wednesday night of December 18th, 2024. Hey, this reaction is brought to you by our buddies over at Game Time. Go to Game Time app, download the app, and use code SECU for $20 off your first purchase, folks. I appreciate you listening to this reaction. Let's go to the comments one more time. Andrew Atex, the SEC is on fire right now in basketball. Vanderbilt is 10-1. Weren't they picked to finish dead last in the league? Yeah, they're one of them. New staff, you're right. The league's unbelievable right now across the board. Mars James, too. Oklahoma was in the toughest conference play basketball, the Big 12. So Oklahoma's built for battle. Yeah, you're right. It's not going to be something that Oklahoma hasn't seen before when they played these Kansas, Houston, Baylor teams down the stretch before. It's nothing. Okay, you're 100% right. 100% right. Corrections, Boomer. Appreciate you listening. Mars Jam, Sooners. Appreciate you, Oklahoma fans, listening, guys. I hope you enjoy the SEC unfiltered content. And guys, it's the best SEC content around for football, basketball, baseball. Myself, Chris Phillips, Cole Thompson have all the bowl previews coming out. We start this week Friday. Got Florida Tulane for the bowl season. College basketball. Again, it's going to take a little bit of a break next week, unfortunately, but then we get into conference play, the best conference in potentially the last 20, 25 years, maybe ever, especially from non-conference play. 1 through 16 is going to be a war every night. And we got baseball season right around the corner, and I welcome the Oklahoma fans and the Texas fans to that as well, folks. But for Dave Shumate, I am your host. Guys, what a phenomenal night. Big winners of the night. I always get my big winners. Come on, it's Porter Moser in Oklahoma, Jeremiah Fears, and them stealing that game late. But, hey, good teams hang around, get a big neutral site win there. Sooners are on the way to the NCAA tournament. Love what Porter Moser's been doing. Like I said, I just wish they'd invest a little bit more money from a collective war chest standpoint. When I say war chest, their NIL war chest to go get some players out of the portal and whatnot. But another night for the SEC, another night of dominance, folks. But for your host, Dave Shumate, you have a phenomenal evening.